For the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we have roll call, please?
Chair Holloway,
Here.
Member Rubin, and I did get notice from Ms. Rubin of her absence this evening, so she will have an excused absence for the record. Member Carney, I did hear from her. She wasn't positive that she would be able to make it this evening, but it looks like she
We'll see.
had a last-minute item she had to take care of. So if she doesn't show up, she'll have an excused absence. Member Grigsby,
Present?
Member Oquendo,
Present.
Member Rivera, and Member Rivera informed me that he is late. He's on I-4, stuck in traffic, so he may show up late to the meeting. And Member Bridle,
Present.
and I want to welcome Member Bridle. He is our alternate to the Planning Commission.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum, and based on the composition of tonight's commission, Mr. Bridle, his first meeting, will be a voting member. Mr. Bridle, you can participate in all discussion, even if you're not voting, but tonight you are the fourth commission member here. We have 5 voting positions each meeting, so you will be able to participate and vote. You'll be required to vote tonight, okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have approval of the minutes? Has everybody read them?
I motion to approve the minutes.
I second?
Third.
No, there's no third. 2 is enough. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone against?
All voice vote.
Aye.
Passes 4-0, is that right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, our first item would be DRC case number CNU 21-00002.
Good evening, Planning Commission. I just want to say it's a pleasure to be in front of you one more time. It's been a while. A lot of new faces, welcome, and familiar faces. Nice to see you guys again.
Thank you.
My name is Abismael Abreu. I am the Business Navigator for the City of St. Cloud, and I am here to present resolution number 2021-058R. This resolution is for a conditional use on 1400 Vermont Avenue. The zoning of the property is R2 single-family and two-family dwelling. It has a future land use of medium-density residential, and the proposed use is for a school, private and parochial under the Land Development Code, and it's going to be used as a tutoring center. The applicant's here, so she can go into more details regarding to that. The application is found to be compatible with the general development pattern in the area, and there's no adverse impact to city facility at this time. This resolution is found to be in compliance with the Economic Development and Growth Management Strategic Plan goal statements. And both DRC and staff recommends approval of this resolution in their meetings before or on April 29th of this year. And we're here standing today requesting that the Planning Commission, based on the 6 factual matters of the Land Development Code, also recommends approval of this resolution 2021-058R. Like I mentioned earlier, the applicant is here to have to answer any of the questions that the Commission might have tonight.
Thank you. Would the applicant like to come forward, please? State your name and address.
Ooh, sorry. My name's Annette Moore. I reside at 6375 Carroll Circle in St. Cloud, 34771. I'm representing Christ-Centered Academics. I'm the principal owner of the school/tutoring center. We actually teach exceptional children who don't flourish well in a state education system because of numbers mostly. Most of them are autistic, and so they need a smaller, quieter, more congenial environment for them. So we run small groups. There's not a lot of children. There's sometimes as many staff as children, because we have a great staffing ratio. But during COVID, our numbers blossomed, and we don't fit in the place that we're in now. And so we were looking for a larger place so that we can facilitate the children who, because of COVID, could not cope with homeschool or, not being in the classroom. And parents were somewhat sad about mass because of their special needs. And the fact that they are special needs meant that they didn't have to wear masks, but that left them open. And so some of the parents came to us as an alternate.
How large of a school will that be?
The school day?
No, the numbers of children.
Oh, at the moment, we only have 14 children. It's not a vast school, it's a very small school. We've more than sufficient room for about 20 children, but we don't have that.
Yeah, because I see this is only a 75-foot lot.
Right, but that's maximum, and we don't have that, and I don't foresee that at all.
Okay.
Okay?
If it would get larger, you may look for a larger facility.
Well, yeah, but I really don't foresee that happening in the near future. We've just graduated 2 of our children this week, and it's not the kind of school where you just have people coming and saying, can we come to your school? It's parents who tell parents of special children that this is a safe place for their children, and it's not a large number at all.
What is the school day like? I mean, the time period from when to when?
Well, we're open from 8 o'clock until 4:15, but the children come in at staggered times and leave at staggered times. And again, with them being exceptional, sometimes they have other appointments that they have to fit into the school day. So it's, here come, different times and everything.
And it looks like most of the neighbors that at least took time to fill out some of the
Yes.
documents have
Yeah.
no objection. Do you have any statement about how they feel about it?
Well, the 2 closest neighbors, one on 14th and one on Vermont, have already seen us. We've improved the property already. They're very pleased with what we've done, and they have no problems whatsoever. I did receive back, I think it was 5 letters, and none of them had any problems out of the 42 that I mailed out in the local area. And I just assumed that if they don't have a problem, or if they had a problem, they would have written a letter. If they didn't write a letter, they're not worried about it enough.
There was one resident, looked like they said they would like more information regarding it. Did you all reach out to them?
I tried, but she didn't give me a forwarding address or a telephone number. And I had put my numbers and everything on the letter. And so, unfortunately, when I tried to get back to her, she wasn't there.
What will the ages be?
We have grades 1 through 12, but with only 14 children, that's not a lot of any age group. I think the most children I've got in any one age group, if I've got 3 third graders, but the others are like 1 in each age group. There's very few.
And this is an existing property you're going to be working out of already, not building anything new on there?
No, we're not building anything new. We are going to split one of the bedrooms into a handicap bathroom / storage, but that's the only alteration we need to make.
Okay.
And we have to have fire and sprinklers.
On your application, was that application limited to a certain number of children, or is that open-ended?
No, it wasn't, but the fire department limit us. Where we are right now, the fire department told us how many we could have, and so we just use that as the limit. But like I say, I don't think we'll ever get to that number.
Because, handicapped children, special needs children, their parents will bring them there and pick them up. So,
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. It's always parent drop-off. There's no
Yeah.
busing or anything.
I mean, you are located on one of our main roads, you know,
Yes.
Vermont Avenue, busy road, and 14th Street, which is also borders on the commercial, so,
Right.
so that shouldn't be too much of an issue.
No, I don't think it would be, and we've more than sufficient parking, because as well as the house, there's a huge green area that belongs to the house, and so we can park vertically on that and just shimmy in a fenced area so that we can have parking but still have a safe garden area.
Yeah. Okay, anybody else have any question?
I have one more question. So the fire department said you were allowed to have up to 20 students?
Oh, no, we haven't finalized that
Okay.
number, but that was the number that I gauged from the amount of square footage from when we had our previous building. But the fire department, Mr. Khan always comes in and says, okay, you've got this much square foot, you can have this many children, and that's the end of it.
Okay. Do you know how many staff you'll be having there?
I have 3.
3. Okay. I'm just concerned about the parking area, because if you have staff, if you're living there, and then people coming as
Oh,
well.
it's not a living area, it's,
Okay.
the living area is the school.
Okay.
It's not a residence anymore. It would not be used as a residence.
It's a house that being remodeled.
It's a house that's being converted.
Okay. So you would have 3 cars there at all times, and then people coming and going as well?
Right. We have more than 8 parking spaces, which was the minimum for the planning department for the rooms and the number of children that we put forward on the planning. And we have more than 8 parking spaces.
And you're going to be paving those parking spaces and everything, right?
Well, 4 of them are paved already. The others, we're going to use the grass. Because it's in-out parking. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah. Basically, the people that are working for you will be on the grass and the other people will be using the asphalt.
However, it needs to be done.
I guess the site plan would take care of those issues. We don't
But,
have to
yeah,
bother
that's not
with it.
before the commission.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so-
We have it.
Yes, sorry. So I heard some questions regarding the site plan. I just want to just point out that we're here just making a recommendation on the use. The applicant will later have to come in and work with city staff to make sure that she meets all the requirements of the land development code for the site improvement site area.
Okay, thank you. Question for you. Since there is no limit actually on children right now, would it be appropriate for us to put a limit on it?
You can make, with the recommendation to the
for the
council that you would recommend a condition that, you know, the current location, the use is approved, would cap the number of students to be enrolled at a certain number as a part of your recommendation to the council. Yes, the commission can do that.
Okay,
The big thing the commission has to do is, whoever makes the motion has to rely upon the 6 factors that are in your packet.
and then add,
supporting the
if
condition.
there is a limit asked for, to add that in your motion.
That would be a condition, correct. These are the 6 criteria that have to be considered.
Yeah,
And then any kind of conditions or circumstances that the commission would like to collectively forward would be incorporated into that motion.
okay.
And
So,
we would have no problems with that. Obviously, the safety and comfort of our children is way more important than anything else.
Okay.
yeah. There's nobody here, thank you very much.
Thank you.
There's nobody here from the audience, obviously,
You
to
can still
spring
ask
for or against it.
You
Uh,
could-
Anybody in the audience
go.
that would like to speak for or against it? No. Any other questions from the board?
No.
Do we have a motion? And remember to quote the 16 findings. Six findings, I was gonna add a
Factors.
10.
If I, Madam Chair, if I just want to make clarification, because I would like to make the motion, however, I would prefer the motion about the conditional use, and then if we have recommendations, can't we just add that at the end
Yes.
as a recommendation? I would prefer not have that as part of the,
Yeah, you can present
Okay.
it, that will get back to the council.
yes, right,
So-
right.
So certainly as part of the record. in
So,
terms of what you
Madam
can-
Chairman, I would like
Okay.
to make a motion to recommend approval of resolution number 2021 058R, am I reading that right? 058R, based on the 6 factual matters with the Land Development Code.
Do we have a second?
I will second the motion with them putting the condition on that they look into the matter of the maximum occupancy of the children by
Well,
the fire department.
How many?
A
At
sec,
least-
a second would be seconding the motion as it was presented. So you either would second it or you would not second it as it was presented. If the motion doesn't receive a second, then it fails for lack of a second, then you further discuss as a commission what you're gonna do.
Or we'll entertain another motion? So,
Well, just to clarify,
so do we have a second on the motion that
Ms. Griggs,
Ms. Briggs?
Ms. Brixby made?
I'll go ahead and second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Brown,
Aye.
you need to vote.
Aye.
Okay. So, Madam Chair, did you vote as well?
Yeah.
Is that four
Aye.
approved?
4-0.
All right.
Mhm.
So the motion passes 4-0, that the recommendation was for approval, that it met the criteria for the conditional use.
And Madam Chair, I would also like to just recommend that the, how do I say, Planning Commission or the
City.
city,
City
thank you,
Council.
just consider the recommendation of a limitation on students as needed.
As per the fire department? Do you want to add that, as per the fire?
I don't want to tell them how to do their job. I think the city
Okay,
will be
very good.
A-okay.
Okay. Do we have to vote on that? No?
No, it was just a recommendation. Essentially, it's feedback from the commission to be forwarded to the council when the matter is presented.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So the matter was recommended for approval to the council, and this matter will appear before the city council. Okay, great. Then you know, okay, thank you. Okay,
You're welcome.
Thank
ma'am.
you.
We got the second one coming up now.
All right.
Yeah,
Madam
as soon
Chair?
as I can find it.
It's right there on the front page, Ms. Holloway.
Do you need an
Right
agenda?
there, right down the second page, item B, on your first page.
Oh, I see it now. Okay. I was going through these, and with the back, because you print them on both sides, I can never find anything. Okay. Ordinance number 2021-17, rezoning district land development code.
Good
Hello.
evening,
Good evening.
Andre Anderson, Community Development Director, and I'd like to welcome you to our Planning Commission. This item is for a Land Development Code amendment. It is to amend both the City Code and the Land Development Code. There are certain sections of the City Code that will be amended, as well as the Land Development Code, specifically Section 8.4 regarding keeping pigs, hogs, and swine. Some definitions are being added. Table 3-5 of the agricultural residential uses is being modified. And Article 3, Division 7, related to single-family dwelling district, is also being amended. Just by way of background, this item is as a result of annexations that were being proposed back in 2018. And it involves several agricultural parcels that have what's called an agricultural benefit status, something that we typically would call ag exemption. And these properties were concerned, these property owners were concerned that they would lose that ability to maintain their ag benefit status. And so the city council delayed annexation of these parcels in an effort to address those concerns. And so they established an agricultural ad hoc committee, and they had several meetings. They had about 5 or 6 meetings once a month. And we had a chair and vice chair and others. And the committee was made up of several landowners as well as different experts in the ag industry. We also had a large animal vet on the committee. So we got some good expertise on how to address this ag benefit exemption provision. One of the concerns, of course, was the ability to address nonconforming as well as educational uses that could occur on these properties. For instance, 4-H clubs and their ability for kids to raise pigs and so on for show, as well as what's referred to as the Future Farmers of America program. And so we needed to address those items. And also there was an issue related to allowing for the continuation of certain farming practices on these properties that existed prior to annexation. The one that was of most concern was the rotational grazing of cattle. And during this process, I learned a lot about raising cattle and ag uses that I didn't realize I would learn, one of which is that they have to rotate the cattle every 6 months for the grass and so on for vegetation. And so 6 months coincides, of course, with nonconforming use. And so if you don't have that use for 6 months, it goes away. So by the time they move the cattle to one part of their property, that part of the property now became nonconforming and lost its nonconforming status. So we had to address that as well. And what the committee developed was these set of standards based on the animal type, as well as the weight of the animal, and also the land area that the particular animal could be kept on. So we came up with a set of uses within the RE Residential Estates District and had some site standards. And this committee standards were presented to the City Council back in 2018. The reason it's coming to you now is because we have not had any annexations regarding enclaves since that time, and so we are now bringing it forward because we are about to process some new annexations, and this will impact those property owners' ability to want to annex. And one of the outcomes of the meeting was also to ensure that there was ways to encourage and entice property owners to want to annex into the city because there was not any negative impact that would occur because of this annexation. So as you'll see in this table, which summarizes what's in your packet, is that single-family detached, of course, is a permitted use, and so is general farming for personal use, like a vegetable garden in your yard and so on. Then we started creating these categories of animals based on weight. So the first category was Group 1, which was small animals, birds, and fowl. And this is anything that's less than 40 pounds. So it includes chicken, rabbits, fowl. And the minimum lot size has to be half an acre. And there's a maximum of 20 of these animals per acre. Group 2, which includes now livestock and grazing animals, this is anywhere between 41 pounds and 500 pounds, and would include anything like sheep, goats, and so on. Again, minimum lot size of 0.5 acres, and this one has a maximum of 5 animals per acre. And then there's a Group 3 of greater than 500 pounds, and that included things like cattle, horse, donkeys, or mules, and so on. And that was also permitted use. We also included swine, which is already permitted under the animal section of our city code, but we wanted to make sure that it did not conflict with what's there, so we had to modify it to say that it cannot exceed 1 per acre. We added a provision to allow for beekeeping, but not for commercial operation, but more for personal private use. We also included aviaries, community garden, commercial kennels, and commercial use, but those are all considered required to be a conditional use. It has to go through another layer of review in order to be permitted. So that's essentially the table of uses and permissions. Now, there was a whole lot more discussion that occurred. I'm just kind of summarizing it really quickly for you here. You know, one of the things they talked about was guns, and, you know, how, you know, they had to kill the animals and things like that. And there are some standards already in place under the Forestry Service and so on that allows for those types of activities when it's a legitimate agricultural use. There was, of course, concern about, well, what about agricultural barns and buildings? Well, under the ag standards, those are permitted without a permit. So there are some other standards that already exist that this will not get into, but it still falls under the residential category. And so this was really a supplement to allow for some ag uses within the residential district. But if you're in an agricultural district already, those things would not be prevented, and the ag uses that are legitimate as far as agricultural industry would not preempt what's permitted here in the residential areas. So just wanted to clarify that. So again, this is consistent with our strategic goal for growth management. And the ERC and staff recommends approval of ordinance 2021-17. And we ask that the Planning Commission also considers for approval based on the 6 factual matters of our land development code. I'm here to answer any question, and the applicant is here. It's me, so I'm happy to answer any questions.
I'd like to see that 40-pound chicken.
Was there any, on your chart, there was something about the cattle? Is there a limitation on the amount of space? I think it was if you go back to the chart, there was like X number
Right.
per, but was there something for the cattle?
Right, yes, so, let me go back.
It was 5 per acre.
Right, yeah, maximum of 5 per acre for 45.
Oh, because there's still the sheep, goats, da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
Then there was just group 3 was just making them, they were just bigger, but it's still the same, 5 per acre, gotcha, okay, yeah. And so I'm not quite sure if I'm real clear, it was presented in 2018, the same or with the
Same
adjustment?
thing,
Same
but it
thing.
just sat.
So it's being brought back up again.
Right, so we can proceed forward. Yes.
Are there any of the residents that are involved in this on day-to-day that have approached you all or given any input?
Yeah, well,
yes, good, bad, or
again,
indifferent?
we had a very lively discussions, I must admit. And these were large landowners that owned large acres of land, and so they were the most affected. And these were all public meetings. We advertised them, you know, so everyone was aware of the process. And we would, and then when we had a workshop, I can't recall what occurred at the workshop, but it was presented to the council, and the council was very satisfied with what this committee came back with. And said we had a lot of discussion of so many different topics, and you know, I pulled up the minutes of all the meetings to kind of refresh myself, and there was quite a variety of discussion items that occurred during that time.
Yeah, I know several years ago, we did annex in some 5-acre tracts.
Yes.
Agricultural tracts, so this must be the rest.
Yes, it is. It's properties just south of 19th Street, just west of Old Hickory and Hickory Tree in that area.
The manor.
There's several large tracts in that area.
What's left of the manor?
Well, it's actually north of the manor. Yes, north of the manor. But yeah, there's some
New
tracks
Nolte
throughout
Road.
that area.
New
Yes.
Nolte Road area right
Yes,
there.
yes.
So if we have to summarize, kind of, it's also to basically help current homeowners to keep their non-conforming status. This assists them in continuing that.
That is correct, yes. Because there are several properties that had ag uses that would have been in conflict, that would have been non-conforming. So when they got into the city, that would have created a situation where they would be on that 180-day time frame if they
And it
stopped
just
using
benefits the city that we get them in.
Absolutely.
Is this going to be like your program with your chickens or anything with the permitting and everything?
There's no permitting involved here except for the uses that would be conditional use. So for instance, if a property owner wanted to open a beekeeping, for instance, that's not a permitted use now, it's conditional use, so they'd have to come in for a conditional use permit.
Okay.
And since you know so much, I'm just curious, why does there have to be so much space for the pig? Like 1 pig per acre?
Well, I don't know,
Oh, okay.
except
I
that
just
the
thought you
doctor
learned so much, it
said.
might have been one.
So, yeah, I
Okay.
mean, and that's why we made sure
Oh.
to have a vet on our
Yeah.
committee,
All right.
so you can provide that input.
That you had learned some, I
It's
wondered.
more
Yeah,
for the
pigs
smell.
pigs can root up a lot of property.
Yeah,
Oh,
and the
okay.
same thing with the chickens. It's more of the smell. That's why you don't want to have so many in a small area.
And as you might already know, with the backyard chicken keeping, it does not include roosters.
Yeah.
And it still doesn't. If you're
Yeah.
out in the country part,
The
yes.
neighbors do not want to hear that.
Yes.
So, I mean, this also, because my daughter's in the FFA program, so this would be a big benefit to them when they're raising their animal for their show.
Sure, absolutely.
Well, I think we heard a lot. Do we have any other questions? No?
Just asked to hear from the public. I don't think they'll hear anybody.
Anybody in the public that would like to speak?
Sit down.
Gotta put it on the record.
Speak up?
Gotta put it on
Yeah.
the record.
Do we have any other questions for from the board? No? Do we have a motion?
I would like to make a motion to recommend approval of ordinance number 2021-17, DRC case CDA 21-0003, based on the 16 findings in the Land Development Code.
I second.
Thank you.
Correction, it is 6 findings,
6 fine.
factual matters.
It's on the printout, it says 16, that's
Yeah,
why.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which is a condition to the 16.
the Land Development Code has 16 findings.
Yeah,
Maybe the
these are.
mistake.
these
You're
are
probably
sug-
correct, you're probably correct.
These
I
are
probably had a mistake.
suggested amendments to city code and land development code, so really recommending the changes as presented is sufficient at this stage.
Okay. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. 4-0.
Thank
No
you.
nays, everybody's in agreement, all right.
No nays.
Okay.
And I think that does it for today, right? We have one more item that I'm missing.
I just wanted to say, our next planning commission meeting, some of your agendas might state, May 18th, but it's actually June 15th. That was a, clerical error there. And I also want to.
June 15th?
June 15th.
Okay.
Mhm. And Member Bridle, I will forward this information to you, but I believe everyone here received this. If not, let me know. But on Thursday, May 20th, there will be a historic preservation presentation regarding the St. Cloud Historic Survey. So if you want to be in attendance for that. So, yeah, I'm just reminding you guys of that, and that will be at 3 p.m. here in the council chambers.
It's May 20th, right?
So this Thursday.
3 p.m.?
Correct.
Okay, did you want me to sign that? Or,
Yes,
it doesn't have
once the
my name
meeting
on it.
has adjourned, you can sign off on that, yes.
okay, good.
Thank you.
I think we can adjourn this meeting for today.
Usually you move to adjourn, someone moves.
Move to adjourn. Thank you very much.
Okay. You usually call for motion, someone
I
says.
move to adjourn.
There you go.
Oh,
Second.
okay,
I'll second
second.
it.
There you
All
go.
in favor?
Aye.
There you go.
Aye.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Great job as usual, everybody.